Hey guys, this is Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I'm going to be doing a how-to video. This video is all about how to store your planner inserts. I'm going to be running through my thought process and how I actually store my planner inserts. I will just go ahead and say that if you are thinking about figuring out your own system, I certainly recommend trying out what works for you. Like the way that I do it is not the way that everyone else does it. So you kind of have to tweak it and see what works for you. But I'm just going to be explaining my process and how I store mine. And hopefully that gives you inspiration for how you could do it for yourself. So with that being said, there are a couple of different steps that I walk through in order to store my planner supplies, like the inserts. Okay. So, oh, by the way, sorry if you hear noise, like my lawn care folks are here, so they're cutting the grass. So anyway, I don't know if you can hear that or not. So the first thing that I do is basically when I have my planners, I make a very big distinction between used and unused. Okay, so if I have a set, like a planner that is currently in my rotation, I will keep that separate from planners that I'm not currently using. So what does that mean? That basically means that if I'm currently using a planner, it's going to be separated from the things that I'm not using. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in a couple of other things that I've got here. All right. And this is just like all the stuff that I just have lying in my space. Okay. So the way that first step, again, separating between things that I'm currently or things that I am using and things that I'm not using. So this is my memory book for Sophea. I am using this. You can see it has cover, it has discs. This is something that I'm using. This is actually her storage. And so it has pages that I've already used. So it goes in the used category. And so it's on cover and discs, right? This is my Franken planner, currently in use. I am using it. So it has cover and discs. You can, I think, get where I'm going here. And this is my budget planner, again, cover discs. So if there is a planner that I am currently using, or not currently using, but that I have either already used, currently am using, or planning to use in the future, I put it on cover and on discs. All the other planners, the planners that I don't plan to use, don't have a plan for using either currently or in the future, I take off the discs. One of the things that I do is try to separate all of my planners into 6-month periods. And so when I break down a planner, and I have all of these new planners and I'm trying to make a decision on whether I want to use it or not, what I do is break them down into 6-month periods. So if I have an 18-month planner, I basically break down that 18-month planner into 3 6-month periods. All right, and I'm gonna do that for you just so you can see this. How I store all of my planners is basically in these bags. Now these bags I got from my dad. He gets these Ziploc bags that are super heavy duty, but you can use any Ziploc bag. The one that works best in terms of size is going to be the Ziploc freezer gallon bags, and they work perfectly for this project. But what I do is this planner I haven't separated because I was initially this planner literally just last week I was planning to use for Sophia's memory book in 2022, and I just made a switch. And so I haven't broken it down yet, but I'm going to do this right now with you. It has right now January 2022 through December 2022, right? And so it has 12 months on here, but basically what I do is when I break down the planner, when I make the decision basically that this planner doesn't have a purpose yet, or it had a purpose but now it doesn't have a purpose anymore, I will take it off the discs and then I will separate it to where it's just January through June, right? So there's 6 months, and then July through December, and I'll split it up just like this. Now, let me grab a bag. Okay, I ended up grabbing the bag, Post-it notes, and a marker, because what I do is I will actually, I don't actually always do this. You can see with some of these other planners, I don't actually do it. But what I would encourage you to do is go ahead and put the planner, right? This one is Sophisticated Florals, and it's going to be January 2022. Now I know that I break it down into 6-month periods, so I just need the start date, and then this is going to be a classic vertical. I think the classic is obvious, but sometimes you might forget what layout it is, so I always make note of the layout. So here is my Sophisticated Florals for one envelope, and I would do the same thing. Again, I'm not very good about doing this, but ideally I would do this for all of the stuff in bags, right? And this one is the July 2022 start. Now, as I'm writing this out, why is it that I break it into 6-month periods? Well, let's just be honest. we probably, unless you're very good about going 12 months in a planner, a lot of times we end up like, switching 6 months in. And so I like to go ahead and separate it and have 6 months at a time. So that way, when I make a decision on my planner lineup in January and in July, I have all of the planners in one spot and I can make a 6 month decision rather than like trying to like piece out like here's a 12 month and here's an 18 month. What should I do? What should I do? I've already separated it and just it makes sense for me. So I'm gonna put these into bags, and I know that you can hear the lawn care people, like it's very, very loud right now. So I put this in here. Right, and I haven't labeled these, but just so you know that this is a vertical layout, and I know it's a vertical layout. It's for July 2021 through December. I haven't used it, have no plan to use it, and so that's there. And then this one is also July 2021 through December 2021, and I don't actually remember the layout. I'm pretty sure it's a vertical layout. So it's a vertical layout, and it's from the Disney Princess line. Again, no plan, no purpose for it right now. So it's in bags, off the disc, off the covers. And then this last one is a wellness layout, again, July 2021 through December 2021. And so that's what I've got. The way that I split up my planners is by past, present, and future. And in fact, it's not really past, present, and future. It's more so past and completed, and then current, as in current, like the current month, as well as any past months that I haven't finished yet, and then future months, right? And so I organize it quite like pretty much like that, right? The way that I do it is it's kind of a weird system. I guess I should show you in my memory book. It'll be the most clear way of doing it. All of my current months go into my Franken planner, just so you know that. But my memory book, sometimes I put in my Franken planner, but sometimes it just sits by itself. So this is just kind of a cleaner way for me to talk about it. So this is right now all of the memory book stuff for 2021. Okay, so this very first one is on cover and disc. Again, I've used these pages, and all that's in here is literally January. That's all that's in here. January is right now the only month that I've completed, right? And it's the only past month. And what I do is actually have all of the past months on its own set of discs, as you can see here, right? I also have, it's July, okay? Like almost July anyway. But even with like only January being in there, I still have like months in here, February, March, April, May, and June, that I haven't finished yet. And again, this is Sophia's memory book. I sometimes go back and like add photos and things like way after the fact. And so just as an example, one of the things I haven't finished here is printing out more photos for her February. For her February monthly, and so that's why February is still in here. I think that's the only thing that's missing here. I've actually finished all of the other, like the weekly pages. Yeah, I finished all of that. So it's just missing this monthly. And so as soon as I like finish and print out these photos and put in photos here, I can move February into this system, because then February, even though it's a past month, it would be completed, and so it would go into the past and completed kind of archive that I have for Sophia's memory book. Now, you're probably going to ask me what happens with all of my other planner like past pages. I gotta tell you the truth, I honestly just throw them away. All right, that might hurt your heart, but the only thing that I really keep from a planning perspective is going to be the memory keeping stuff. And so this is the only thing that I really feel like needs to be remembered or like needs to be carried into the future with me. And so I only keep the memory book stuff, like my personal, my budget, all that type of stuff. Once I take the information off of it and transfer it into the current month, I don't really need to keep it. I might save it for a couple of months just in case I need to reference something, like for work, for example. I'll keep a couple of months. I normally try to keep the whole semester, but then once the semester is over, I just get rid of it. I just don't need to keep those pages, and I get that like we have the pretty stickers and all that type of stuff on there, but I just don't have the space for it, and so that's there. Now, if you're looking at this system and you're saying, okay, well, we have the past and we have the current, where does the future go? For me, for Sophia's memory book specifically, I always put 12 months in here. The memory book always gets a 12-month like collection. I have to have 12 months together. And just going back to like what I did earlier with Sophisticated Florals, it was going to be Sophia's memory book, and so that's why the 12 months was together. It would have already been split up into 6 months if it hadn't been designated for that purpose. But again, I switched midstream being like in June, decided what I was going to do for 2022 for Sophia's memory book. So I have now gone ahead and split it up so that way I can, figure out whether I need to rehome the guts or do something else with it. And so that's pretty much what I do. Now, again, what I do is make a distinction on used versus unused. If it's unused, I will take it off the discs, right? And I guess I should also say these are unused current and future pages. Current and future pages. I take it off the disc and I put them in bags. That way I know exactly what I have still remaining, still able to be used, right? If I have something that's already in my current rotation, I am currently using it, what I do is put all 6 months together, right? And it will be in on its own disc. The exception here is my memory book. I do keep all 12 months here, but for example, my budget planner, actually this is probably not a great example. Well, kind of is. I keep saying budget planner. Oh my gosh, this is my wellness planner. For my wellness planner, what I was doing for 2021 for this entire year is using outdated guts. So you can see here I have just outdated guts that kind of, it's probably more than 6 months worth, but it's about 6 months worth. Actually, it's probably closer to 12 months worth. Anyway, it's all the like outdated wellness layouts that I have that I'm trying to use up. So I just store them in here. And if I did keep my like current pages or like my past pages, I would just put them back in here at the beginning, right? And just kind of put the past pages and the future pages and then move my current pages into my Franken planner. But again, I just don't keep that. And I just get rid of it. I don't personally like to keep unused pages in planners, okay? And so just as an example, like if I this is my classic skinny. If I decided like I'm using it for July, but if I decided like midway through August that I just couldn't use this, I don't like to keep the like unused pages in here. Again, if it's unused, I take it off the discs and I put it into a Ziploc bag. It's still current, so I could still potentially add it back into my lineup, but I don't like to leave it here. I tend to find that I'm out of sight, out of mind. And so if I don't pull it off and put it in a spot where I know here are all of my current, future, unused, doesn't have a purpose stack of planners, I just won't know what I have in my stash. So if, for example, in my this classic skinny, I decide mid-August that I just am going to switch to something different in September, I will attempt to use all of August. I don't like to switch mid-month, but I'll use all of August. But then September, October, November, December, I will just take this off, right? One of the other things that I will say as I'm doing this, and this is just for demo purposes, I'm not actually saying this is what I would do. Right now, it does have a purpose. I'm going to be using it for it, so it stays on the disc, stays on the covers. One of the things I would do is, this is a 4-month period, and I don't like to put them in 4-month periods. If it's a 4-month period, I will actually just consider this unused and just like outdated. Or I will just like try to post like a D-stash and just say I only have September through December. I'm not going to try to put it into an envelope just because then I feel like I get thrown off like if it's not 6-month period. So I will do something different with this, either try to like give it to a friend or sell it or do something else with it, just because a 4-month period is a little bit weird for me. But this January through, well, I'm not going to pull it off because I'm literally going to put it right back on. But this January through June period, right? It is in the future. It's unused. If I decide to switch to a different system, it goes into a Ziploc bag and it will go into the stack of like planners that I can use, right? So I hope that makes sense. In my mind, that just works out better where I have a stash of like, here are the planners that I know that I'm using currently. It's on covers, it's on disc. These are all the things I'm using. And every month I'll go through and just double check, like here are all the planners that I have. I pull them all off the shelf where they sit, and I'll post a picture so you can kind of see what that looks like. And I'll say, okay, do all of these planners, all of these notebooks still serve a purpose? Are they still in my current rotation? And if not, then should I like break down this planner? Should I break it down and put them into a Ziploc bag, or should I break them down and classify them as outdated? So that's just kind of what I do. And again, I like to keep them in 6-month periods. It makes sense for me to have it in 6-month periods, but you can do whatever feels good to you. Like if you're like you only want to go from quarter to quarter and you want 3-month like little stashes, you can totally do that. I like to, when I organize these planner pages, I like to put them in like just in like little date order, right? So this is the stack of 3 that are July through December of this year, and then here's one single stack of January 2022, and then the stack of July 2022. And this will probably grow, but hopefully not. Like goal is no spend, right? All right. All that being said, let me get to the final category. And again, the final category here is going to be unused and outdated pages. What I do for those is, again, I don't like to leave them on the discs. If I'm like midstream and like I just didn't use those pages for whatever reason, I like to take them off the discs. So going back to my example here, in July, I am trying this classic skinny for July, but I stop the second week of July. And I end up having like 2 pages at the very end. Let me try to get to them. Where are these pages? All right, let's just say like this is the week that I stop, right? I have these pages right here that I end up not using, right? What I do is just take them off the discs, right? I personally do not like having blank pages in my planner. And again, like I just toss it, right? So my personal planner. So like if it's not being used, then I could potentially use these pages elsewhere. I don't like to like throw these pages away with the rest of the month that I've written on. And so these pages I will then consider this outdated because the month has passed. I didn't end up using them, but I don't want to throw them away. All right. And so these pages now make up like an entire bookshelf in my space. And I just pulled off like a random one. Now, normally these are not on discs, okay? Just so you know, like they were actually sitting out on the bookshelf, like literally free floating. I'll post a picture so you can see what that looks like. And it got to be like where they were like in huge stacks of like papers. And so I needed to be able to like stand them upright, but then standing them upright, that worked out for a while, but then they were starting to like flop over like this. And so I decided to go ahead and put them on covers and put them on discs. So it's kind of a weird setup, but they are supposed to be, in my mind, it would make the most sense that they were just kind of sitting on the shelf. And hopefully I'll get to a point where like I don't have so many like outdated planner guts and I can actually just stack them pretty nicely in my space. Or if you have a different system, please let me know. I would love to hear what you do. But what I do is I actually just take the months out and I categorize them. And the way that I categorize my outdated, well, this is undated. This is not a good example. Let me flip back here. All right, the way that I categorize them is I basically pull out like all the beginning months here, like the beginning sheet with the monthly spread on that second half, the right hand page, and then I just stick them all in here. You can see there is literally just like all of these monthly spreads, right? And then what I do is at some point it will switch over to where it becomes like weekly layouts. Now this is an outdated like Planner Babe. It's actually the Planner Babe planner. And one of the things about the Planner Babe is like it's actually the same color going down here, and all of this color is the same. The only thing that's different is that this month is like it changes color here. But the rest of it has the same kind of rainbow stripe color. And the way I can tell that, just quick tip here, is if you look at it on the side like this, all the colors remain the same regardless of the month. And so when I noticed that, what I basically when I noticed that, I basically just kind of decided, okay, I can just ignore this section of it and just kind of combine them. You can see here's a February, here's a March, it goes back to February, and I just stick them in any kind of random order. I just put them in here randomly, and then towards the back I will have all of the like the currently pages, right? And I just have like all of these kind of in here. Now that's all. I basically organize it like that. Like honestly, it was getting overwhelming because I had like stacks and stacks and stacks of like old planner guts. Again, like look at the photo, you'll see like it is a lot. And I again like went through and like put them on covers and discs just because it was so overwhelming. But I did categorize them where it's like here's all the Planner Babe, and I organize it with like the monthly spread, and then like the weekly spreads are in the middle, and then the pages with the currently page on it are in the very back, just so I can kind of have a good gauge of how many weekly pages I have. And then I organize it by type, right? And not type in the sense of like, you know, like these are the Mickey planners, these are like colorful planners or anything like that, but I put all the layouts together. So this one right here is all vertical layout. And so you can see here's some undated vertical layout, but this is vertical layout. And then I have multiple like planners that have vertical layout. And then I have all of my line vertical, all of my horizontal, all of that type of stuff. It's just categorized by layout type. And I have it on the shelf. And again, that's all outdated. And so for me, all of my vertical is on blue discs, and I have the other types color coded by color discs, and it's just sitting on my shelf like that, so I can kind of like reference it pretty quickly. And so this video was actually much longer than I thought. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you inspiration for how you can organize all of your planner supplies. Again, like for me, I think the take-home message is I don't like step one, I don't like having used or like active planners, things that I'm currently using or planning to use in the future, be mixed in with things that I don't have a purpose for. And so for me, the very first step is to separate those two categories out and have a plan and have a spot, a way of like separating the things that I'm currently using or the things I've used in the past from the things that I plan to use in the future, but that all those three things, past, present, future, for currently or like for used items is separate from the unused past, present, future. And so I hope that makes sense. I feel like that's the way that I've been able to keep my lineup kind of fresh all the time because I know exactly where all of my planners are. I know what I don't have in the rotation, and I can like cycle those things in and out fairly quickly just because I do break down my planners in these 6-month increments. And so again, I hope this was helpful to you. I hope it gives you inspiration for how you can organize your own planner supplies, and I hope it gives you some tips for how to store your outdated, current, and future planner guts. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video. Bye guys.